Hi everyone, and welcome to week 7. First off, I do want to say thank you for taking the time to complete the survey. I do put a lot of emphasis on your responses because they help me shape my instructional approach to make sure that I can meet your needs. The mid-semester eval would be considered a formative assessment. I created an assessment tool to gather data in order to guide my instructional practice. Based on the data that I collected, it seems like while conducting the formal assessment took some very tricky maneuvering and substantial effort, many of you found that process to be very beneficial. You reported that it was a worthy endeavor, and you now feel better suited to discuss data during IEP meetings and to be able to write an IEP that is data-driven. There was also a lot of positive feedback regarding these weekly videos. You said that they help you stay on track and know what to expect for the week. This is particularly useful information because this is the first time that I've used this format, so it's really good to know what's working. You also reported that you found working ideas through with your course mates in the discussion board format was helpful. So I've taken that into consideration. I've actually reworked an upcoming activity regarding your IEP development to kind of have a peer review type of opportunity and get some feedback from your course mates. I did receive some feedback that some of you had wished that you had gotten access to upcoming assignments earlier. If I'm being honest, it's kind of tricky. I always struggle with this. I want to make sure, of course, that you have the appropriate information in a timely manner, but I also don't want it to feel very overwhelming. I myself have taken an online course, and this particular course, when you sign into week 1, you see the whole semester's worth of content. And to me, that felt a little bit overwhelming. But I've heard your feedback, and so I'm going to take that into consideration as we move forward and finish the semester. In fact, you'll see that I'm going to release some content earlier for those of you that want to be able to look ahead and get a jump start. As I have stated previously, each semester is an opportunity for us at VCU to really hone our practice and make sure that we've designed these courses to be authentic and student-driven and applicable to your roles as a special educator. So again, I really do appreciate your feedback. You will have the opportunity at the end of the course to participate in a summative assessment. This is the official VCU course eval that I'm sure you've done before. I will have access to that data after you participate, so that'll help me guide the course for future students as well. All right, so at this point in the course, we have really run the full gamut of the assessment process, from understanding how a student is first identified, what assessments are utilized during that initial evaluation or an eligibility process, and then the re-eligibility process for reevaluation. And then we've also talked about some curriculum-based measures to monitor progress throughout the school year. So this week, what we're going to do is take that same assessment process model and apply it to behavior. Some of you in your interview opportunities discovered that there are people in your building that perform behaviorally related assessments, such as the BASC or perhaps the CARS, to measure autism spectrum disorders. For the purposes of this course, we're going to really focus on assessment tools that special educators use. There are people who spend their entire careers on assessments for behavior, but we're going to focus just for a week. So it's going to give you really a snapshot, and hopefully by the end of this week, you'll have some really precise and useful tools that you can have in your toolbox for when you need to make behavior recommendations or collect behavioral data. Oftentimes, special educators are involved in the FBA or functional behavior assessment process for a student who may be displaying patterns of challenging behaviors. The FBA process is a very specific regimen where the goal is to collect behavior data from multiple sources in order to determine the function of a student's behavior or why a student is utilizing that behavior. For those of you who are currently enrolled in Sedp 631, the behavior management course, you're really focusing on a scientific understanding of behavior principles to understand the relationship between one's behavior and their environment. For this course, for this week though, we're really going to focus on the data collection tools. Just like the discussion board with the practice Woodcock-Johnson scores to analyze, this week's discussion board has been similarly designed to give you the opportunity to work with your course mates and practice analyzing behavior data. You're going to look at it with that fine-tooth comb the same way that you evaluated the achievement data. Behavioral data collection is a really important part of my role, especially as a PBIS coach and behavior coach. So I always make sure that as I'm going through and I'm learning new behavior collection tools, I'm keeping those in a place professionally where I can access them later. So please take this opportunity when you download these materials, save them somewhere on your computer. You may not need them this year or the next, but you may find yourself recalling on these tools later on as you proceed. This week, for that behaviorally related assignment, you will be conducting an observation of a school-age child and reporting on the data that you collected. It could be someone you work with in school if you're teaching now. It could be someone in the neighborhood. It could be somebody in a restaurant. It could be somebody at Starbucks. There are plenty of school-age children out there in the world showing themselves through their behavior. So please take the initiative to be a little more casual with this type of observation in comparison to our previous assessing a child assignment. There are very specific directions on how to do this in step 3, so you'll see them there. And then of course you'll see all of those tools that I previously mentioned. Please, please, please continue to contact me if you need anything. My role here is to make sure that you continue to experience success as we finish out the semester. Thanks so much.